Hey, I'm Paul Rabelais, and in this video we're going to talk about part 7 of our 8-part series on how to leave it to the kids. Part 7 is the special needs trust. All right, so a couple of housekeeping items before we begin. One, we just surpassed the 2,000 subscriber mark on YouTube. So my limited understanding of YouTube's algorithms is the more subscribers, the more people YouTube puts these videos in front of. So it is real important to me. If you could, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, then click on that notification bell, and I think that'll help YouTube get these educational estate planning videos in front of more people who might be interested in taking a look. Okay, so we're on. I've been doing this every day now for 7 straight days, excited about it. And so this one is the special needs trust. And so let's start talking about that a little bit. I'll get into what it is in a second, but first let's go how it gets set up. And again, people in their will may say, when I die, I leave assets to the special needs trust. And maybe all of the terms of that trust are in their will, or maybe in their will, they say, when I pass away, I leave assets to my child's special needs trust, and there's a separate, what I call standalone trust, which is not a bad idea because this trust will last for your child's lifetime. It's going to be around a long time. A little cleaner if your child has his own trust rather than have those terms be part of your last will and testament. Or maybe you have a revocable living trust. You've arranged things to avoid probate, and in your revocable living trust you say, you know, when I pass away, assets will go to my child's special needs trust. And again, that trust is, I think every special needs trust that I've established for our clients lasts for the lifetime of the child, because these trusts are set up for children who have some disability, and it's unlikely that that disability is going to go away. So the trust typically, stays in effect for the child's lifetime. Okay, so why do people set up special needs trusts? Well, the main reason is perhaps you have a child who is disabled, and because they're disabled, they're getting certain government benefits like SSI or Medicaid. And an outright bequest from you to the child who's getting those government benefits will disrupt the support that they're getting from the government program. Because if someone who is getting those government benefits has more than $2,000 of countable resources. Countable resources are things like money in the bank, investments, things that aren't your home or your car, but things that have value. And so typically an inheritance is a countable resource. And so when you leave that child more than $2,000, their government benefits are jeopardized. So what does a special needs trust say? How does it get set up? Well, it has to be very intentionally set up. Nobody ever set up a special needs trust by accident. It has to be specifically written and drafted and created with these rules in mind on making sure that assets can't be used for things that the government provides, typically things like food and shelter. But it can provide for disbursements from the trust for additional items for your child. And common things that special needs trusts provide for the beneficiary is things like additional caregivers, medical services, or additional medical equipment that the government doesn't provide, dental work, education, housing, transportation, travel. So it's designed to enable you to leave things to a trust that will supplement what the government's providing. And when it's set up that way, the child gets to keep those sometimes valuable, often valuable government benefits. Okay, so that's the gist of the special needs trust. There's a lot more to it. The kind of trust, special needs trust that we're talking about in this video, when you're leaving an inheritance to a child or to a trust for a child, that's going to be because there's 2 types. That's going to be what's called a third-party trust. a third party, you, is leaving assets for the benefit of another person, your child. So a third party is putting assets in that trust. There are other special needs trusts that are what's called first party trusts. That's where we see it a lot in when someone maybe gets injured and they get a lawsuit settlement or judgment, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars or more, and they're disabled. And so it's more difficult to preserve those assets when someone puts their own money into their own special needs trust. Harder to protect that for the family. But what we're talking about here is a third-party special needs trust. So in case you ask Mr. Google about special needs trust, know that when we're in the context of leaving things for the benefit of a disabled child, that's going to be a third-party trust. Also, we really can't have a thorough discussion about special needs trusts unless we talk about these relatively new ABLE accounts. Here in our state, Louisiana, we have the Louisiana Achieving a Better Life Experience account. So it's called ABLE accounts, and it's relatively new. And it instead of using a trust, it allows families to set up an account to save for disability-related expenses for their loved ones without having to worry whether the assets will be counted for the government programs like Medicaid and SSI. So there's certain limitations on how much can go annually into a disabled child's ABLE account, or how much in total can go into an ABLE account. So just, there's lots of information out there, but be aware that that's relatively new. And, I think what they're trying to do is allow parents, siblings, grandparents who want to provide for their disabled family members in a way that they don't have to go through lawyers, quite frankly, and set up all these formal special needs trust accounts. But so that's an alternative out there that fits in the right circumstances. Okay, so this part 7 was about the special needs trust. I want to make sure, I'll remind you one more time that in order to keep you notified and to keep YouTube spreading the word, real important that you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Click the notification bell, and also YouTube likes it, and I like it if you give it a thumbs up if you felt like this video provided you with some value. And then in the comments below, any shared experiences you have about kinds of things. Maybe you have a disabled family member, and you could share, what kinds of extra things they could benefit from by having a special needs trust in place. What kind of luxuries is a too strong a term, but the government only provides for certain things, and so what are those other things that could be beneficial to a disabled child from which they could benefit from a special needs trust from, if that makes sense. So that's a mouthful. Okay, so we'll move on to tomorrow's video is going to be the last part 8 of this 8-part series, and I got to tell you, it's really for the Louisiana folks, but everybody can benefit from the information I'm going to share tomorrow. But we're going to talk about some of the unique forms of ownership when things are left to children, specifically in Louisiana. Stay tuned for that one. I'll produce and publish that one tomorrow. Okay, hope this helps. Y'all have a great day. Y'all take care.